one last thing on the current Cavaliers, and that's the coach, J.B. Bickerstaff.
Yeah.
Obviously, he didn't do a great job in this series, but I think we all agree he's lower down on the blame list in terms of who you're blaming on the team. Is he definitely back? Should he definitely be back?
I think he definitely should be back, yes. And I know that's not very popular. I know people are going to scream and holler and say, you're an idiot, he's got to go. I think that's emotional and reactionary in the moment. I think it's an incomplete. I don't know how you can grade him. Look at what he was given. This is a coach, and I know you have to adapt your style to your personnel. I wholeheartedly agree with that. But he likes playing big. He's said it multiple times. He proved it last year with the market and Mobley Allen. He likes size. He likes playing big. He had no bigs to bring off the bench in this series. None. Dean Wade threw up all over his shoes. And he was the one guy who was the stretch four who we thought could stretch the floor, give him some rebounding. He was supposed to be that Kevin Love replacement. And he was just haunted by Kevin leaving Cleveland and fell apart.
But Jason, let me ask you this though. Like you just mentioned the Heat. Like Eric Spoelstra is one of the best coaches in the league.
They are the anomaly. They're not the norm. But it proves that it is possible.
Right.
With good scouting, good development, good coaching, it's possible.
I don't think it's a short thing that JB should be fired. I do think he's probably going to be back. But at least behind the scenes, if there's a guy you think is a better coach, shouldn't that be considered?
Of course. And that's why I've said for months, a lot of teams are going to have the Ime Udoka conversation because he was the best coach on the market, and Houston beat everybody to the punch. Houston knew that he was going to be the hottest coach on the market, and they snatched him now before other teams could really start making moves and firing their coaches. Right. Nick Nurse is out there. I know he won a championship. There's just – I'm not sure that that's really – I mean, talk to people in Toronto. I just don't know that that's really where you want to go. And outside of that, I don't know that there's a great – coaching option out there that
I wouldn't
is
just go some random young coach.
And that's the thing. Like that's anytime you have a conversation with someone, a GM or front office guy about firing a coach, the first thing they say is, okay, who are you going to get?
Right.
You got to make sure you get somebody better than the guy you got, or what are we doing here? And that's the hard part of this. I don't think, listen, JB did not have a great series, but I would put him third or fourth or fifth on the list of why they're in this position.
Here's why this is a major issue is because when JB does not have an offense, when you have a limited roster from a skill set standpoint, you cannot just roll the ball out there and run pick and roll all season and not develop any sort of go-to. Like, that's not going to work. And so what you ended up seeing at the end of the game is, okay, in this series, if Donovan and Darius don't do anything, we're screwed. If Donovan and Darius don't hit shots, we're screwed. There was no effort to get Evan Mobley into certain spots. I don't even know what his offensive game includes. I don't know where he likes to get the ball. That just means you haven't tried to develop it. You can't go into a season and just say, here you go, and then wonder why when everything bogs down, everything slows down, people are looking at you. And here's another indictment on JB. The bottom line is the pace of this team is entirely too slow.
I agree with that.
They are not an old, decrepit team. They got guys that are athletic and Garland and Mitchell that can get out. Evan Mobley can run the floor. Jared Allen can run the floor. Why are you playing the slowest pace ever? That means you get no easy buckets. You get no transition buckets. And
they never throw those long Kevin Love passes.
You can never. Everything is the defense is set looking at you and saying, "Give me your best shot." And at least the Knicks, they're not a running team. But look how the Knicks sped the pace up. R.J. Barrett, when they were trying to come back, R.J. Barrett and Hart just pushing the ball.
They were turning turnovers into easy baskets last night. And to your point on the pick and roll, I know I mentioned this on the show before. When I went and spent time with Mike Brown and the fantastic job he's done with Sacramento, and I'm thrilled for him. Mike's one of my favorite people in the league, and I think he's done a marvelous job in Sacramento. One of the first things he said to me was, in the postseason, teams are going to take away what you do best. You like to run pick and roll? That's the easiest thing to take out. What else do you got in your bag?
That's right.
And we saw that play out in real time in this series.
Mikey, you had something.
Yeah, we got 2 super chats, and one's a question directly for Jason. We'll start with this, though, from Always Balling 7. I said it on the post-game show last night. The guys read it, but the Cavs need a veteran vocal leader like P.J. Tucker, Pat Beverly, Draymond Green, etc., who won't take any crap.
Not Pat Beverly.
A player like that would be huge for the Cavs. And then Evan419 has a question directly for Jason. Jason, without saying the players like him, What is JB good at? He's been a coach since 2015. I think we know who he is.
JB grew up in the NBA, first of all, so that's important. Like, he grew up around the game. His dad was a coach. He gets it. He understands it. He's good at coaching defense. They've had a really good defense the last couple of years. Now, I'll have a caveat to that in a minute, and I have ADD, don't let me forget it.
Okay.
But, yeah, the players do like him. Yes, they respect him. And his offense, I didn't love the offense. I've said it all year. They're too pick-and-roll heavy. I don't see him running a ton of plays. They just run pick-and-roll, pick-and-roll, pick-and-roll. It's the first thing that gets taken away. But I don't think that we have a big enough record to say definitively he's not a good NBA coach. He doesn't know what he's doing. I didn't agree with all of his rotations. But listen, there's probably 5 elite coaches in the NBA, and there's 5 really bad coaches. And everybody else is just sort of in the middle. And right now, to me, he's just sort of in the middle. And I don't think he's going to necessarily win you a series, but I don't think he's really going to lose you a series. And I think there's very few coaches out there who can really win you a series. Right. And I said this before. The Cavs made a lot of mistakes those first couple of years post-LeBron, a ton of mistakes. And they've been able to cover most of them and repair most of them and fix most of them. The one mistake that I think could haunt them was firing Ty. Ty and Kobe clashed badly after the championship, after LeBron left and all that. And it just felt like that was – Ty Lue is a postseason coach, and I know the Clippers lost. They lost their 2 top guys. What do you expect?
Right.
In a postseason series, Ty Lue can tie another team into knots. And that's what I want in a head coach. And that's the one mistake that I think they made early on that they may not be able to recover from. But having said that, I don't know that we know definitively who JB is. JB took over a really bad team. You know, in the interim coach, the Rockets were a mess when he got the interim chance. I thought he got screwed in Memphis. I thought he was a better coach and he deserved more of a chance there. Here, you know, he took over for Beeline. The locker room was a mess. They hated Beeline. The team was a mess. So that's a lot of losses that get pinned on him. Really, last year was the first time where he had a team that was ready to take a step, and they did. And this year, the 50-win team, I don't want to.
Both years they lost when it mattered.
Absolutely. Yeah. They lost play-in tournament games, and now they go out and get Donovan, and they lose in the first round. So I don't want to completely dismiss the regular season, but we've proven, and I've said a million times, the regular season is nothing like the postseason, and we saw that play out in the last couple of weeks.
2 things. Number 1, number 2 is getting back to your caveat about his defense.
The defense, yeah.
But real quick, I think your statement about 5 at the top, 5 at the bottom, I think that's actually in every sport. I think they're really
probably
maybe some years at 6, some years whatever.
That's probably
but
true.
But most of the coaches in most sports are somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Now let's get back to what you said. There's a caveat about his defense.
So he's great at coaching defense, and they had a great defense this year. And defense isn't why everyone wants to scream about the rebounding, and it was an issue. Yes, it was, and the guards can't be out rebounding your 2 bigs. But again, and last night's the exception. The Knicks shot the ball really well last night. But the first 3 losses, 99, 101, and 102 points. If you're holding a team to 99, 101, 102 points, you should be winning those games.
Especially in this NBA.
Yeah, the defense is not why the Cavs lost this series. But I will say this. Like, I've talked to people around the league who say, like, you can't be the worst team defensively. I might have said this on the show the other day. You can't be the worst defensive team, like the absolute worst, and expect to win. But you don't have to be great defensively in the NBA. You can be mediocre to even bad. But if you have elite shooting, it's going to cover it. In today's NBA, we used to say all the time, defense beats offense. You can't say that anymore, especially in the NBA. If you have great shooting and bad defense, you can win. If you have elite defense and bad shooting, you're not going to win. And
Same
we
thing
saw
in football.
that.
Same
and
thing
we
in football.
saw that.
You got to have the offense.
Yeah.
You have a mediocre to subpar defense.
So what you telling me as I take notes on this? So you have a mediocre coach you don't know much about. He's somewhere in the middle. You don't have a really top-notch starting 5. You have no bench. You have no assets.
That about sums it up.
You don't have any cap space.
I think 4 of their 5 starters are pretty good.
I think their starting 5 is good. It's not the best, but it's good.
Yeah.
But the rest is fair. I mean, the coach is middle of the road, it seems, and the bench sucks.
See, here's the thing with their starting 4, like core 4, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Like when Miami first assembled a big 3, when LeBron went there and they were the first one to really assemble this super team of 3 max contracts and then a bunch of scrubs. Well, those 3 max contracts were Hall of Famers. All 3 of them.
Yeah.
Hall of Famers. That's a little bit different. You can carry a little bit different, a weaker bottom half of the roster when you have 3 Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Darius Garland may one day be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not ready to declare him a Hall of Famer. Evan Mobley may one day live up to the potential, but I'm not ready to declare that. Donovan Mitchell, same thing. So their 4 is not good enough to carry 5 through 9.
That's right.
Because they're not the big 3 Hall of Fame style that we've seen work in the big 3 era. They are 3 monster superstars. Cavs aren't there yet with those guys.
But here's the thing. I would argue that Jared Allen, if you want to look pick for pick and guy for guy, Cavs don't got a Mario Chalmers on this team. They don't even have a Norris Cole. They sure as hell don't got no Udonis Haslem being gritty, tough. They don't got that. They don't have Juwan Howard. They don't have sharp shooting like Ray Allen coming off the bench. When you start to look about how these teams is constructed, and we have the benefit of the doubt of finding and looking at the way that the Cavs won in 2016. This team is light years. I mean, it's not even in the same. It's not even the same ballpark. Like as far as, and it's not just the top guys. It's the role guys. It's the Kyle Korvers. It's the Kevin Love guys. The guys the J.R. Smiths. You know, how good
even Delly. They don't have the scrappy Delly guy.
J.R. Smith on this team. Come on, J.R. Smith was a knockdown shooter. He really guarded the best player on the opposite team defensively. Think about that. Like, they don't have anybody of that caliber.
We're saying all this now. Like, none of us were saying much of this. I guess you were. Some
I
of
was
these
saying.
Things. But most of us were living in La La Land thinking this team was going to be really good. Did we overrate the talent? We tend to overrate our own players.
Here's what I missed, and I should have known better, about playing 2 non-shooting bigs together. Yeah. I should have seen that coming. And I just missed it. I just missed how that would play in the playoffs because to your point, G, in 2016, like I don't think Mike Budenholzer is a very good coach, and he's proven that again. But he was near, I think I've said this before, he was near tears on the podium in Atlanta. Like legitimately
couldn't do
despondent. He had no idea what to do with the Cavs. When you have Kyrie and LeBron coming downhill, driving to the bucket, and you got Channing Frye over here, J.R. Smith over there, and Kevin Love back there, how are you supposed to stop that? You can't stop that.
Right.
And that's the way to win. And today, when you have 2 ball-dominant playmakers like they did then and like they do now, that's how you win, is you put 3 shooters on the floor with them. And that's the part that I missed, and I should have known that.
Let's wrap up our Cavs conversation with Kevin Love. You just mentioned Kevin Love there. I know I did, say, who cares, get rid of Kevin Love. We were convinced by the Cavaliers and by his play when they took away his minutes that he was done. Clearly he's not done. He's being used wisely by a great coach.
5 threes last night.
Has had big games in the series, including last night.
On the road.
He has the championship
closeout game.
The championship DNA.
Yep.
He would have been the best outside shooter, besides the big guys. They made a huge mistake. Who do you blame for that more, Kobe or JB?
I'm gonna take the easy way out, and I'm gonna blame Kevin and JB and Kobe. I'm gonna blame them all.
Okay.
Because Kevin, I understand. Listen, it was a mistake. Like we can say it. We can definitively say it with our chest.
At this point,
they made a mistake, and I think he had 15 points and 7 rebounds last night. What do the Cavs need most right now? 3-point shooting and rebounding. That's what he gave Miami. He's a key rotational piece for them, and they got him for nothing.
Yes. Now,
I agree. I think Eric Spoelstra is the best coach in the NBA. I think Pat Riley is still a master at what he does. The way that they find talent and mine talent, develop it, they are the elite of the elite in the league. But from the Cavs' perspective, they were concerned, like, Kevin was moody this year. We've seen Kevin be moody in the past. We've seen, even when he was playing, we've seen the outbursts. And they were concerned with Kevin not playing, and at the moment he was unplayable. What's it going to be like in the locker room? Is he going to be a problem? Here's the thing. Good, solid, sound leadership can fix this stuff. And that's what they didn't do. And they chose to just move on from him. And they wanted to do right by him. I do believe that. He's meant so much to the organization. He wanted a chance to play. I've said it a million times. He wanted another contract. He thinks he could still play in the league. He needed a chance to play. He wasn't getting that chance here. But some of his behaviors in the past, some of his behaviors this year, I understand why the Cavs felt like we can't have him around here if he's not playing because we know how this is going to go. So I get that from their side of things. But I also think bring it in and fix it. With Kyrie, bring it in and fix it. He says he wants out. He says, I will never play another minute with LeBron. Bring it in and fix it. And they didn't do that. And that's where I think if you have a Pat Riley type of figure in the organization, if you have someone who can lead, who can bring this in, have a conversation, try and patch this up. Kobe said, I will never play another minute with Shaq. Like, he went on Stephen A. Smith and said, I will never play for the Lakers again. And what happened?
And he did.
They kept him.
Yeah.
And I just think that there's ways to try and mend the fences. But Kevin made it clear that he was done with the coaching staff. He wanted out, and they granted his wish. And now you see what happens. Now, when they need him the most, he's delivering for Miami.
Well, I look at it like this. I talk about Stefanski all the time. I talk about coaches. Coaches now, they don't understand that it takes more to lead men than knowing what you're doing, X's and O's. That is a small part of what your job is. Your job is a motivator. Your job is a guy that is supposed to put out fires. You're a guy that's supposed to be able to communicate very well in tough situations to get people to buy into what you're saying. The option can't always be fire people. People always say, well, G. Bush, you always talk about management and you talk about that thing. No. Management skills translate to anything you're doing. Management skills translate to whether you managing people who dig ditches or you managing people who are flying airplanes or managing CIA agents. You have to have a certain level of rapport and a communication style that lends itself to people buying in. And when people say, oh, it's rumblings, he's a little moody, that's life. Everybody gonna be a little moody. Bull just told Mikey McNuggets in a nice way, shut the hell up, I got this.
That's right.
Stop talking to my ear, dog, I got it. Mikey
Wait till I throw a 75
I'm waiting for him to say, let's get to baseball.
Right,
let's get to the Guardians. And I'm ready for it.
And so at the end of the day, you know what happens? We all say, all right, listen, let's do
you're
it
right.
and keep it moving.
That's right.
I'm not going to worry too much about mood because guess what? The collective will make sure that nothing bad happens.
You're both right. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. There's got to be a guy in that organization that says, I don't give a crap that you're unhappy. Here's what we're going to do, and we're going to keep playing. If you don't like it, tough, whatever. The Cavs don't have that.
Here's the thing. Kevin Porter Jr. sent away. J.R. Smith sent away. Andre Drummond sent away. Kevin Love sent away. Kyrie Irving sent away. And I understand the philosophy of we want, if you don't want to be here, we don't want you here. We only want guys who want to be here. Well, this is Cleveland in the wintertime. It's hard to find guys.
Suck it up.
It's
That's
hard
right.
to find guys who really want to be here.
Yeah.
And I just think in some of those, I get why the guys were sent away. And in some of those, I think that there's paths to mend the relationship that weren't explored.
And they haven't done